lots of environmental costs related to like producing the food itself, right? Or like even the food waste, since a lot of people like me don't eat the crust. So, but now let's talk about something else that we also see very commonly. What about the environmental cost of selling cocoa drinks, right? What are some of the parts or the packaging that's involved with selling this? Straws? Yeah, here's straws, right?
Lots and lots of boba.
That's right. Alright, so boba, it's like really popular, right? So we have 10 booths selling boba. Each booth sells 50 at school anniversary. So that's like 500 cups of boba from like Cocoa, Kabuk, all those different stores that you guys love. Next, we also have this like seal thing that is trash, right? So it actually causes another piece of waste because we can't just leave the seal on the cup, right? We have to take it off if we're going to store it properly. And next up, we also have the plastic or paper wrapper for the straw, as well as the straw itself. So all of these are like 500 pieces each. So how long do you guys think it takes to properly separate the materials for one cocoa drink? Does anyone have any guesses? Oh, wait, that's Jonathan was answer. Okay, does anyone else? Hey, Elijah.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Does anyone else have any answers? 1 hour. Are there any other guesses? All right, so Andre, how long do you think it takes to properly separate the materials? 30 seconds. Okay, do you want to come try? All right, well, it's okay because RK has prepared a vertical video for you guys. So, why don't we watch our local, friendly, professional 7th grader, Chilang, to demonstrate how long it actually takes. So keep in mind that when we're recycling, right, this is also like a crash course in recycling one cocoa cup, right? So like, what are the parts what's the labor or resources involved, right? Carefully wash each straw.
Please quiet down.
Carefully wash each straw. Okay, you need to wash the outside too because condensation can get really dirty. Okay, and then you might need to, okay. Oh, that's already in 30 seconds. So Andre,
Sorry.
As I mentioned earlier, you also need to take off this plastic seal, right? And just think about all the water that's involved when you have to wash one cup, right? And this doesn't even include the boba or food waste or even the leftover drinks that many of you guys might not finish. So if you think about it, like each of these cups takes a lot of labor and a lot of resources to recycle properly, even on our end. Right? Because like at Recycling House, what we do is we first sort the materials.
Please quiet down.
So at Recycling House, what we do is we first sort the materials properly, right? Before they're taken to another recycling facility. So if you think about it, that's like even more labor and even more resources cost in recycling these materials properly. So does anyone have any guesses for how long this actually took for the final reveal? All right. Okay, so as it turned out, it's 1 minute and 30 seconds, right? And that was in order to properly clean it.
Alright, so you guys might be thinking, why do we do this? Why in the world do we spend so much time separating everything just from one cocoa cup? What's the point for us to do this? Well, actually, we don't want to do it either. It's the Taiwanese government that sets the standards for what counts as properly recycled. So when you guys put in like all those like cups and lunch boxes and whatnot, and they're not washed and they're not clean, they're not separated, then we have to do it for you. And what we're trying to do right now isn't to say, oh, look at us, we do so much work. We're trying to say that you guys can play a part too in this entire process. Yeah.
So if you guys think about it, right, 1 minute and 30 seconds, that's not a lot of time if you're just, each person is just drinking 1 cup, right? Like, you guys can spend the time to do so. But if you think about it, 500 cocoa cups adds up a lot. When it comes to school anniversary, right after school anniversary or any of these big events that are school hosts, for example, Shinmun, if you guys had visited their recycling house after any of these huge events, you might have noticed a lot of different recycling or even trash that's building up in the recycling house. Yeah, so this is just a picture of what we face on an everyday basis. Now multiply this exponentially when it comes to one of these big events, right? So that's why IBSH and NHS is trying to go a different route with this year's school anniversary. So I know that we're speaking to you guys as the Recycling House Association, right? So you guys might have expected us to come here and talk to you guys all about recycling, just as we've done for the past, I guess, 10 or 15 minutes, right? Telling you guys how to sort a cup properly, how to separate the materials, giving you a demonstration. But even though recycling is important, and we're the Recycling House Association, that's not what we're here to emphasize today. We're here to emphasize one of the least emphasized of the 3 R's, right? Reduce, reuse, recycle, and that is reducing. So a lot of you guys might have like the concept that, I recycle. Even if I didn't store the materials properly, at least I put the drink cup into the recycling bin, right? And you might think, oh, I've done my part. But in reality, if you take a look at all the resources, labor, and all the things that we just talked about that goes into post-processing after you put your cup into the bin and you think it's over, it actually isn't. There's still so much effort involved in recycling that 1 cup, right? And furthermore, that's not all. After you recycle, where does the recycled materials go? Like, what happens to it? Does anyone have any ideas? Where does the finished product after it gets recycled, where does it go? Oh, how about Ashika? Dumped in the ocean. Okay, so after these recycled materials are finished being processed, so that could be one answer. In fact, this is a picture of a local landfill right in Hsinchu County. So it's really close to us, and you might think trash landfills, or you might think that Taiwan uses incinerators or something to just out of sight, out of mind, right? All this trash just goes somewhere after it leaves our recycling house. You guys don't need to deal with it. But actually, there's real world impacts for all of these. Now, on the other hand, how about Jonathan from 7th grade? So, what happens to recycled materials after they're done being recycled? Notified academic integrity. Okay, so are there any other answers? Okay, so that's reveal the answer. So basically, after materials get recycled, right, they're obviously shuffled into, for example, a new product, right? For example, you recycle your cocoa cups, they might be used to make other plastic products. Now the problem with this is that obviously recycling is good, but it can never be reducing in the amount of impact it does for our environment. Because what recycling does is it shuffles more materials into the production cycle, basically making new products, and it continuously feeds this cycle. So what we're here to do today is to help do our part in order to help reduce and stop this production cycle as much as we can, so that we can truly help our environment.
So today, we're going to be introducing the school-wide zero waste flea market. Alright, so what do we mean exactly by a school-wide zero waste flea market? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. Basically, none of this. And by none of this, we mean literally none of this. No trash at all whatsoever from the flea market.
And no recycling either.
So, yeah, we know what you're thinking. Oh, how is this possible? How are we going to do this? Like, why should we do this? Well, that's what we're here to explain today. So how do we achieve this? Please consider the following. Here we have a picture from Taipei 市指南国小, an elementary school in Taipei who actually did the zero waste flea market. And here you can see the booth is using a big metal container to store whatever they're selling. And then the consumer has a bowl that he brought himself, right? So let's keep going. And here we have more pictures of other schools who have implemented this school-wide zero waste flea market. And we know you guys love your cocoa drinks and whatnot, so if you want to sell that, you also could. So if you're buying it, then you have to bring a water bottle, and if you're selling it, you can use one of those measuring cups or pitchers to portion how much you want to sell. And here, I'm not sure if you can see it too clearly, but that's sushi, and you can always put what you want to sell on a big plate, right? If you're selling pizza, you can also put it on a big plate. And the consumers have to bring their own bowls, and then you can put your food there instead. And here's another picture of students selling tea drinks. So even though it might sound a little scary, it's actually very doable. Other schools have already done this, and they're elementary students. So there shouldn't really be much doubt in yourselves that we can't do this.
Right, and this is a school-wide policy, so that means all 5 departments are following this. But here are the official guidelines for the zero waste flea market. First is booths are not allowed to use or provide single-use containers or utensils. And the second is customers must prepare their own reusable containers and utensils. So this is an effort on both the consumers and the proprietors' part. So the booths and the customers both have to do their part in contributing to our zero waste carnival. So basically, don't use these for consumers, for customers. Some ideas for what you can use instead of the paper plates or paper cups are glass straws, metal lunch boxes, which many of you already have at home, and the metal utensils like forks and spoons. And if you are a customer, please don't bring paper plates. That's kind of defeating the purpose of this entire zero waste thing. I'm sure that everyone is able to find in their homes a solution or a way to keep our flea market with zero waste free. Alright, so for customers, if you really forget, we encourage you not to forget. Don't forget to bring your own utensils, okay? But if you really forget, the school cafeteria is renting out these reusable utensils, and it's actually free. You have to put a deposit there, and they will lend it to you. And as long as you don't break the stuff and return it at the end of the carnival, you'll get your money back. But please try not to resort to this solution. Yeah.
Because the supply from the cafeteria is actually very limited. There's only about 40 or 50 at the moment, and this policy is for the entire school, right? So And also, as long as you put the deposit, they also wash it for you. So.
But don't rely on it. Right. And as for booths, you're probably wondering how you're going to manage to sell anything with this policy because you're not allowed to have pizza boxes. You're not allowed to have paper bags for, usually you sell jipan and gumula and paper bags. You can't have that. And you also cannot have like the drink cups or lunch boxes from something like Xiaofang if you're thinking of ordering that. You can't have anything that's recyclable or that you're eventually just going to throw away, right? So the school cafeteria is also providing resources for the booths, also for rental if you put in a deposit. Yeah, it looks like that. If you have school lunch or have ever seen the school lunch, it's basically that container, and you'll be able to put all of your things, all of your food inside of it. And same thing applies as long as you don't damage it, and you'll get your deposit back, and they'll wash it for you. So there's really no reason for you not to like the service that they have. And in order to borrow these, you'll have to sign up in advance, and the school will post a survey for you guys to fill out. And the pickup date is the day before the school anniversary, which is Tuesday, March 19th at 3 p.m. And you know how there's two cafeterias? There's like a lower one that's next to Highlight that people usually buy their lunch there. That's where you pick it up. That's also where you return it after the flea market around 12:30 to 1 p.m. on the day, which is 3/20 Wednesday.
Guys,
So-
please pay attention.
So to clarify, this cafeteria is the one on the first floor, and it's also the one that supplies school lunch. So if you have school lunch, then you've already seen these before, and you should be pretty familiar with what their sizes are. And as Teresa said before, there's literally no reason for you guys not to use the service, because all you need to do is pay a deposit to them, and then provided that you don't break it, you don't lose anything, and you don't misuse them, you give it back to them, they'll wash it for you and give back all of your deposit. It's basically a free service for you guys to help you guys implement the zero waste policy.
And because previously things we previously mentioned are all policies, all rules that you have to follow. So if anyone is seen breaking these rules, such as booths that provide paper plates or paper cups or something like that, or if you damage any of the borrowed materials, we will forfeit your deposit, and yeah, you don't want that. Please adhere to our zero waste policy. And so finally, if you're wondering how you're supposed to portion what you sell, some ideas include using a measuring cup if you're going to sell drinks. And another thing that you could use to contain your liquids, or if you're going to sell drinks, you could use one of those kegs. If you guys have been to BDSC dances, they use a big container, and then you just twist it open and the drink comes out. Yeah, and actually Coco rents these out. So if you want to sell those drinks, it is possible. Yeah.
Yeah, to add on to what Teresa just said, for Coco, for Shinman, we did order from Coco, and they did provide like the reusable kegs for you to use. So if you guys want to order Coco, you just press that, and they give it to you in one big portion, and then you have to ask people to bring their own water bottles, right?
It's also possible to do the same thing for Xiaofang if you want. You can bring your own container there and just tell them to fill it up, and they'll do it for you.
And also, if you're wondering, oh, how do I portion rice, right? What you can do is you can bring a small bowl, like a small plastic bowl, and then you can fill it with, cover it with plastic on the inside. So you can use it, and then you just like scoop up one bowl of rice, and that could be your measuring stick for your rice. And furthermore, for noodles and salad, you can just use like the jiazi, the tongs, So we know like, oh, for example, cheese taco salad, right? That's actually very easy to do. All you need to do is just, because the only waste that the taco salad has is just the paper plate and the plastic utensils, right? So just have people bring their own containers and utensils, and then whoever's selling it can just use the tops.
Okay, so this is an example from another school that already hosted a zero waste event, and at the end, this is what was left. It was one bag of trash and one bag of recycle, and they're both not full. As you can see, they're only like halfway full. And this is what we're aiming for.
So, as you can see from this picture, our choices every day does make an impact. They do make an impact on what happens. So you can see this bird is eating up so much like plastic waste that's gone into the ocean, that's gone into the air, right? That's gone into like the floor around us. And it doesn't need to be this way. By taking a few simple steps, we can prevent things like this from happening. And in this picture, you can see what happens when we put our trash in the ocean, right? Because as you guys know, when the ocean currents, they actually all generally end up flowing to one place. So all the trash that we put in the ocean, they all wash up in one location. And sometimes these can be on islands. And this is one of those islands where the trash just keeps washing up continuously and continuously without end on their shores. And they have to clean it up on their own. And it just never stops. Together, we can do our part to reduce our impact on the environment. It ain't much, but it's honest work.
Thank you everyone for your time.
Alright, so now we're going to have